Okay, at 6:36, we will reconvene to open session. Let's stand for the pledge to the flag. Allegiance to the flag. Okay. Oh, ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you for the flag. That was nice. Okay, report of action taken in closed session. There is no action to report out of closed session. Approval of the agenda. Approve the irregular Board of Education meeting agenda for May 13th, 2020. And this meeting is a virtual meeting, so all votes will be by roll call for the entire meeting. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, and I will read your name. Rick Phillips, are you in favor?
Aye.
Megan Crawford?
Yes.
Linda Reed?
Yes.
Matt Brock?
Aye.
Suzanne Seymour? Aye. Okay, motion passes 5-0. Now, public communications. Public comment on non-agendized items. The public will be given the opportunity to address the board at this time on topics not listed on this agenda. Remarks shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. The board reserves the right to limit public comment beyond a total of 15 minutes per agenda item. The board cannot engage in public discussion during this portion of the agenda due to the Ralph M. Brown Act. And then we had 4 ways you could submit a public comment. And we have a few tonight per item. So for public comment on non-agenda items, number 1, board member Crawford is our clerk, and she's going to read the comments this evening. And so I believe there are 3 unagendized comments. Ms. Crawford, let's start, if you're ready, with the comment from Jennifer Anderson. So to tell everybody, the board received earlier this afternoon all of the public comments that were written and provided to us, and, either via an email link or via the form that we had listed. So we were able to see those and read those at least quickly, which makes it a little easier for us to follow the person's comments this evening. So go ahead, Megan.
Okay. So this is from Jennifer Anderson, and she said, I am a music teacher at Silver Spur Elementary, Vista Grande Elementary, and Vila Early Learning Center. Last month, I received a letter stating the district was providing me a reasonable assurance of returning to work in the 2020-2021 school year, but I am very concerned the district will not be able to offer music next year, and that the letter is therefore not accurate or fair. Should the district not be able to offer music next year, I trust you will update the teachers so that they can start the process of trying to find a new job immediately. Moreover, as our contract is only a 10-month contract with no paid holidays or benefits, it was already very hard to get through the summer months, and if we aren't being brought back in August, we deserve to be able to file for unemployment immediately. Not notifying us of your decision until August would greatly reduce our chances of finding employment elsewhere and harm us financially. I look forward to your urgent response. Thank you, Jennifer Anderson, Masters of Education.
Thank
I
you.
actually had a question for Matt on this one, which is, can you clarify whether or not people like Jennifer are able to file for unemployment benefits at the end of their contract since they've been given that March 15th notice? At least that's how I interpret what her letter is.
I don't know, Dr. Horvath, if you can hear that, but I think it's good to know what member Phillips is asking. we typically don't talk about unagendized items when they're agendized unless you can offer a clarification on that.
I think you're allowed to ask a question of staff. Can you hear us, Matt?
If he can answer, yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah, we give reasonable assurance, and at that point in time, they cannot collect unemployment. They did not. She's not. The music folks are not getting. They have not been March 15th notice because they're not employees that are with Palos Verdes Faculty Association. So they are not March 15th notice. So they would get a 60-day notice if we were going to be laying them off.
Okay, thank you. So then the next item for unagendized, Board Member Crawford, let me know if you think I'm wrong, but I thought that would be Tim Coleman. It's an open session, non-agendized?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is from Tim Coleman, and this is his response to the last board meeting. Dear board members, district staff, fellow teachers, and community members, I am writing today to express my concern about many of the comments from board members at last month's meeting, which suggested an overall dissatisfaction in the level and quality of teaching currently happening in our district. I want to go on record as saying that I am proud of the work I have done and far more impressed by the work my fellow teachers are engaged in. The teachers I know are working harder than ever to deliver content, advise students, and keep parents informed, all while creating a completely new curriculum with no effective advanced preparation. Many board members at the last meeting pointed out that the majority of our teachers are doing great work, followed quickly by a but, and then a long list of the things we are doing wrong. We were called out for not doing enough work, not doing it in the right ways, and it was even suggested that we should be more grateful for how lucky we are to still have jobs. Perhaps it wasn't the board's intent to set a negative tone regarding the work our teachers are doing, but that's what emerged as the night dragged on. As a teacher, I learned long ago to not blow up an entire class if 2 students were not on task. Doing so makes everyone feel judged, makes everyone question his or her own effort. I would encourage the board and district staff to not publicly endorse the suggestion that our teachers are not doing enough or not teaching well. As a district, community, state, and country, we are facing a very serious challenge in the coming months and years. It will undoubtedly take years to recover from the impact that COVID-19 has had on our schools, our economy, and our lives. This would be a good time for the board to acknowledge the great work that we are doing as a district, to praise teachers who are doing well, and to work hand in hand with us to ensure a brighter future for our district. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And then I believe, so Megan,
I also have one more.
From John Revelle, yeah. Is that right? Okay, that was what I had, okay.
Okay.
We just received these about 5:30, I think, so we're organizing them.
So this one is from John Revelle. Dear board members, superintendent trainers, and PVP USD staff, according to the Palos Verdes High website, Myra Carmona is still listed as a member of school's staff. If that's indeed the case, then can you please explain why she isn't teaching my son's class? At my job, if I don't do my job, I get fired. In the PVPUSD, if you don't do your job, apparently you get a raise. Why isn't the district holding teachers who don't teach accountable?
Okay, so those were the comments that we received from the public on non-agendized items. Anybody joining us late, those were not Megan Crawford's comments. Board Member Crawford, those were the comments that she is reading as our clerk that we received from the public, okay? All right, now I believe we have 2 comments that are unagendized that are live comments on Zoom. Is that right, Mr. Bahadur Singh? Or maybe just one. I think one person didn't want to, but I think the first one, I would characterize that as unagendized.
Yeah, I don't have that person in the waiting room.
Okay.
I have Miss Barton's in the waiting room. She is wanted to speak on, hang on one second, let me,
Oh, I see Tesha Bar. Okay, let me read
Yeah,
it.
I think
Oh, grading. She wants to talk about grading, so that's not yet.
Yeah, that's not so. But the other one, there is no one else in the waiting room right now other than.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So one of the things that we struggle when we do these opportunities for the public is that we rely on the public to tell us what item they want to speak on. So if we were in the room, in the boardroom, you'd have a card and you would figure out the agenda and what you would item you would want to speak to. So some people put it down and some people don't, and that leaves it up to us to figure out how we think your comment, where it fits. So if the two people that wanted to speak on the Zoom Live want to speak to a specific comment, obviously we are reading our emails during the meeting. So let us know. Okay, moving right along then. So then public comment on open session items. The public will be given the opportunity to address the board during each agenda item. Remarks shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. The board reserves the right to limit public comment beyond a total of 15 minutes per item. Directions on how to submit were again on the agenda. So we have a few items that have a few topics, a few comments, not a whole lot. They'll all be read for up to 3 minutes. Okay. So now we have the approval of the minutes. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes for April 22nd, 2020?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay. So now roll call vote. Board Member Phillips?
Aye.
Crawford?
Yes.
Reed?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Seymour, yes. That's a pass of 5-0. Okay, board president announcements. All right, tonight's Board of Education meeting is being recorded and live streamed via a link on the district website. The district is still accepting new student enrollment for 2021 school year. Information is available on the district website or by contacting the enrollment center, which is also a link on the district website. The district's adult education and after-school enrichment programs are now offering online classes. Please visit the district website, pvpusd.net, for class and registration information. The Peninsula Education Foundation's summer program is offering online classes for each school level. Please visit pvpss.com for class and registration information. The Board of Education will be meeting twice a month or more in July and in August. We will be officially adding those dates to our meeting calendar at our May 27th meeting.
President Seymour, we have Samantha Weiss, who is now ready to make her comment. It is regarding the MOU between PVFA and PVPUSD.
Okay, and that is unagendized, so that's fine. Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and admit her.
Okay. Welcome, and when you're ready, go ahead.
Samantha, go ahead and unmute yourself when you get a minute.
Agendized, so that's fine. Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and admit her.
Okay.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Welcome, and when you're ready,
Go ahead and turn down your sound. We're getting the feedback from your. So there's a go. Go ahead and unmute yourself when you get a minute.
I am unmuted.
Yeah, but you don't want to have the live video going at the same time.
Correct.
So I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Agendized, so that's fine. Okay.
Turn down the volume on your computer.
Okay.
So the speaker volume on your computer, turn that down, and we can still hear you.
Okay.
Welcome.
How about now?
You're ready. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. Hey, Samantha, can you stop the live stream broadcast and just stay on the Zoom? If you stop the live stream, it'll be okay.
I am unmuted.
Yeah, but you don't want to have the live video going at the same time.
Correct.
So I don't know what that means. I don't know what you want me to do.
Close YouTube for a second and then come back to it. So the speaker volume on your computer, turn that down, and we can still hear you.
How about now?
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Got it.
Perfect.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Good evening. Dear Dr. Chernus and members of the school board. Community outcry and confusion over the distance learning plan of our learning community is a direct result of the district's refusal to engage in meaningful collaboration with the teachers in the creation of this plan, and the district's unwillingness to honor the contract they negotiated and signed. PVFA explicitly expressed a desire to collaborate on the distance learning plan and has been ignored. The distance learning plan that Lindsay Gatondo, at the direction of Dr. Chernus, I've no doubt, floated to our families after the agreement was signed, is a violation of our agreement and is a bad faith bargaining practice that we are saddened and quite frankly disgusted by. Yet we are not surprised. You've had ample opportunity to respond to our letter dated asking you to clarify families what our responsibilities are. Instead of giving it careful attention, as any serious superintendent who cared one whit what his teachers were concerned about, you sent it down to Matthew Horvath to deal with. Your brush off does not go unnoticed by the association. We will be entering some of the most difficult times that public education has ever had to endure. You clearly care, not one iota, as to the stress that our teachers are undergoing as they have to redirect their own families' needs while they teach from home. We've had such incredible support from families. They know too well what we're going through because they too are having to take multitasking to a whole new level. You continue to dismiss the concerns of your PVFA members and proceed with an agenda that is globally dismissive of our input. You find yourself tonight in grave need of repairing with your teachers. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Suzanne, I think since that included an attack on Alex, we ought to give him the opportunity if he wants to respond.
Because they too are having to take multitasking to a whole new level.
Okay, so
you continue to dismiss the concerns of your PVFA members.
So,
okay, there we go. So, but we don't generally have I'm sorry, I was unmuted. I had to fix myself. We don't generally respond to unagendized comments. So I would prefer to stick with that. If Alex, if you want to say that you will get back to them, that's fine. But I don't know.
Well, I think that, yeah, I guess the concern is that nobody from the association reached out to me. We did receive a communication directly from CTA representative. I meet regularly with PVFA representatives, with PVFA president. I'm happy to do so. I do care more than one iota for our teachers, and I care deeply about our teachers, and I do appreciate, which I express quite a bit, I do appreciate the good work that so many of our teachers are doing. So I respectfully disagree, and I'm happy to have future dialogue with our teachers. But I do think that I do agree with Samantha. We're entering really tough times right now, and we need to work really closely together because we have a dire fiscal situation.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that. Yeah, we can discuss that more later when it's an agendized item. All right. Are we good? Okay. Report. So the board president announcements were read on J. So now to K, a report of our student board members. And I thank them for coming. And let's see who. Okay. Lucy. Can you hear me? Lucy?
Hi.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Good evening, board and Dr. Chernus. Thank you for having me. Despite our classes remaining on Zoom, the PVHS community has remained very busy during our distance learning. Last week, PVSB hosted PV's Got Talent on their Instagram, where students were able to submit any talent to be voted on by the public. For students that could sing, dance, play an instrument, juggle, and more, it's clear that our student body is full of talent. Shout out to senior 2C Adams for winning the talent show and to ASB for keeping us all entertained. Also this week, the virtual PVHS Advanced Photo Student Show is being featured on the PVHS and PVASB Instagram accounts. PV's Advanced Photo students have been working on their long-term projects all year. so make sure to check out all of their wonderful work. This week also marks the beginning of AP testing, which is taking place online this year. PVASB is putting on a wellness week in order to help our Seekings de-stress in the midst of all their test taking by encouraging students to take walks and study breaks. PV High's annual Sean's Run that commemorates Sean Heffernan and raises money for the Sean Heffernan Memorial Scholarship Fund will be held virtually this Sunday on Zoom. Lastly, PV's administration and faculty helped celebrate our senior class by dropping off yard signs to every student. I know every senior appreciated seeing our favorite teachers and being celebrated. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. And now for Suraj.
All right. Hi, good evening, board, and thank you for having me. I hope everyone is hanging in there. My report today will be a little bit brief. So first of all, congratulations to 12 Peninsula students who qualified for the prestigious American Invitational Mathematics Examination, or AMY, and to 2 Peninsula students who qualified for the National American Chemistry Society Olympiad. Both stellar achievements, and we are very proud of them. In other news, from May 4th to May 8th, students celebrated Teacher Appreciation Week, taking a moment to express their gratitude for our wonderful teachers who are trying their best during this very difficult time. This week was also Virtual Declare Week on Instagram, so congratulations to all of our seniors for their college plans. On the subject of seniors, last week, PVPHS staff members also 2 days distributing lawn signs to the seniors, and that was a very nice surprise. I actually didn't know that was going to happen because the sign just showed up on my lawn one day, and it was a very nice surprise. So this week is the first week of AP testing. Peninsula students are completing a variety of online college level tests ranging from AP French to AP Physics, and best of luck to all of our AP students. This concludes my report.
Thank you. All right. You guys are always welcome to stay as long as you would like. We will be discussing grading a little bit later, and that might interest you. So now moving right along to L, a report of the PVFA leadership. Cece. Hi.
I'm muted now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Hi. Well, welcome. Thank you for having me tonight. I know this is our new normal, right?
Right.
I love to always start out with shout outs and what teachers are doing right. And as some of these things have been mentioned already, PV High and Penn High teachers delivered lawn signs to seniors in the graduating class, which I'm very pleased to report. Some teachers have received flowers and other goodies sent to their homes from appreciative parents at many, many sites around the Hill in honor of Teacher Appreciation Week. So I want to say thank you for that. That was a really special treat for all of us. At Montemelaga, PTA was very complimentary to the staff for their hard work and efforts in the distance learning situation. Vista Grande Kindergarten's doing an amazing job with guided learning videos. They're still doing get-togethers. I'm sorry, they're putting together birthday books to deliver to kids who missed their school birthdays because that's such a big event in kindergarten. Cornerstone will be doing a Shakespeare play on June 5th. And at Miralest, Ms. Jackson put out the MIS news that went out last week in Edleo. So I always want to start out with the positive. And I also want to say, not that it needs to be reminded, but if you look for it, there's good around you. If you look for it, there's bad around you, right? So I always want to start with a positive, and I always want to finish with a positive, whether that's reporting here, whether that's report card comments, So as I spoke to you guys at our last meeting, you have teachers that want to teach and students who want to learn. You've asked for our input along the way, and some decisions have to be made. We respect that. There are just some things that our teachers are feeling frustrated with when we're being asked as professionals to put in our information, such as with the grading decision. So some members are feeling pretty frustrated that, we're asked for our support and asked for our input, and the decision is made anyway. Similarly, addressing the point of the MOU that secures the teachers' rights, the district recommended that we do things that we didn't agree to. And so when it was presented to the teachers and to the community, teachers look like the bad guy when we're not doing what we're told, when in fact that's not something that we agreed to. Now listen, teachers are in a vulnerable place. We're all in a vulnerable place. while of course we are all grateful to have jobs, most of us have never worked harder, myself included. Those of us who are Zooming, which is, as you know, not the most ideal platform to do, we're opening up our homes. And I just want you to know that no matter what, teachers have made the pivot of their lives. We are doing the best in what has been, I would say, probably like the last 2 months have by far been the 2 hardest months of my teaching career. It's not an ideal way to deliver instruction. We know that. We want to engage with students. That's who we are, right? We want to be with the kids. I mean, there's so much of this new reality that it is heartbreaking to experience as teachers, because that's not why we got into this job. We didn't do this job because we wanted to work behind a computer. In fact, so many teachers I know can't even sit still long enough in the real world. Like, they're used to walking around, engaging with their kids. So I just want to reinforce the fact that we are people who give the best to their kids. No one got into this job for the money. We are people who take one-on-one calls, right? We deliver books, we deliver materials to students. We, make crazy videos for our kids. We do whatever it takes. And at the end of the day, I just want to maintain that we have to work together. The road ahead is going to be a tough one, and we acknowledge that. We recognize that. We're feeling very squeezed. We're feeling very squeezed, as everyone is in this crisis, with battling our personal lives at home and monitoring kids of our own or elderly folks. So we're just really asking for everybody to be compassionate and understand that we're trying to make the best of a really crummy situation, and that I will always maintain that we have a collaborative approach, and I always want to be able to work together with the district, with the school board. And I think anything less would be unhelpful, and just recognize that we really are trying to do the best that we can. We're doing an amazing job. And I know it sounds cliche because we keep saying it, but we are all in this together. We are all in this together. And that's what we're committed to, is doing the best for our students right now.
Thank you. And I appreciate that upbeat take, because we are all in this together, and it is tough. And I think every single person on this call and every single person watching would say every day is difficult. There is really not an easy day. And I'm very jealous of those people that say they have so little to do that their houses are really clean, because mine's not.
They make me crazy. They make me crazy, those folks.
Me too. I'm always like, why is my house not cleaner? So,
Totally.
did anybody else want to mention anything?
I would. Thanks, if I can. And actually, Cece, I actually had some things I was going to say during board member comments, but I thought it'd be better to give you a chance to hear them. And if you'd like, you can respond to them. And I do hear what you're saying. And I truly believe that you and many of the dedicated teachers of PVFA and of the district are doing more work than they ever have before, and are trying absolutely to do the best by the kids. However, there are some things that aren't as good. And I'd like to point out that in the initial draft of the MOU that PVFA proposed, item number 5 was unit members shall not be required to present lessons or activities via video. And that's something that the district did not agree to. So it's true that you did not agree to have us put language in that said you could be required, but the district did not agree to having you include the language that you could not be required. Also, I really did not appreciate it when the executive director of SFUT, Sandra Goins, sent a letter to all of our principals on March 26th. If SFUT, CTA, PVFA have an issue with our district and the behavior of our management team, they shouldn't be going to our middle management. They should be coming to us and to Alex, right? We're the ones, just like you, the executive board and your bargaining team are the members of the union they're supposed to be bargained with. If there's an issue, it should be dealt with the management side of the district and not going to our principals. I thought that was just totally inappropriate. And I really took to heart, some of the words that you said tonight, and the last time at the last board meeting. And you said, you are going through the pivot of your lives, and I believe that. And you said last time that it saddens me to hear that teachers aren't doing what they should be doing. You also said that you appreciated our trust and respect in us as the professionals we are. And we do respect you. And I think we did actually take into consideration your grades, and even your membership was split 50-50, for example, at the middle school level as to whether or not you wanted grades or pass-fail. So there's no consensus among teachers, and there isn't total consensus among the community. I'm sure we're going to talk about grades more, but I think we do truly value your input. And you said education looks different, but we're not giving up. And I think that this is one of the key points that you're mentioning again today, which is please don't let a few bad apples spoil the bunch. And I think that's true. I think the vast majority of teachers are good apples and doing a good job. But unfortunately, and it's hard to characterize. We do actually have some data now on where we think there are some discrepancies in distance learning. And it's certainly a larger fraction of teachers than I would like. It's not the majority. It's definitely a minority, but it's a sizable enough minority that is affecting a large number of kids in the district. And I know that teachers are knocking it out of the park. At your site, I hear nothing but good things about what's happening at Soleado. I think the teachers at Soleado really are, including yourself, knocking it out of the site, and I truly appreciate that. But you also said, I personally feel like, let me know who they are and I'll follow up with them with regards to the teachers who aren't pulling their weight. So I'd really like to ask what PVFA and the leadership and the dedicated teachers like you who are really doing their absolute best for our kids are going to do with those few bad apples that are spoiling the reputation of the whole PVFA.
That's fair. That's a lot. I will tell you, this is the worst part about my job is I don't want to be in a position to defend people that are doing below average work. Yet I am the union president and I represent all teachers. So that is a position that I have to maintain, right? Now, I will tell you, it is not my place to discipline teachers. That's not my role. That is an administrator's role. And while I understand that there was pushback and frustration with where we stood with the MOU, I do feel like that was what was the best interest of our teachers for the circumstances that allowed. And what is unfortunate in this whole situation is that the cream is rising to the crop. I mean, the reason that cream is rising to the top, right? And everyone's in their island. So we don't know. This is the other piece that's a disadvantage about being isolated is we don't know. As teachers, we try to collaborate, but we really don't know what's happening at other school sites. I have a pretty good pulse because I'm the president and I have a lot of contact with a lot of teachers, but teachers at one school site don't know what's happening at another school site, right? Like, unless they're having those cross grade level conversations, which are even harder to do. So I don't really feel prepared to speak to that. It makes me sad, and I do stand by that. It makes me sad to hear that people are not doing the bare minimum, because quite honestly, that is embarrassing. That is embarrassing for all of us that are pulling their own weight, right? Like, we're not the lowest of the lowest common denominator, right? We are. That's why I try to continually spin the positive. That's why I always want to start our messages with shout outs for the positive, because it's very easy to focus on what's negative and what's wrong. And, I really feel like it's a small portion of teachers who are not pulling their weight. And while I would like to tell you that I can reach out to them, encourage them, there's a huge argument for what's better instruction, right? Like, is Zoom the best way to instruct? Because quite honestly, it's a platform, but it's not the original intent of the way we were taught as teachers, right? Like, we weren't taught in a classroom how to present in front of a computer. It's rather ineffective for me to read material, and I don't even know if the kid is getting it on the other side. Never mind the whole spectrum of students with special needs and how their needs are not being addressed, right? Like, there's a whole bunch of problems. That's why I'm trying to reinforce the fact that we're doing what we can. We're doing the best that we can. With regard to the CTA conversation and going to what you felt was middle management, there's been some discussion about that too, because our CTA person originally felt like she wasn't getting the response that she wanted, and Dr. Trimness addressed that, and we've since spoken about it. But what the appropriate chain of command is we're in this like crisis mode. So I'm asking for patience and forgiveness instead of criticism, because we're trying to figure it out. I understand and respect the fact that you don't appreciate it, but that was what we felt was the way to handle it at the time. And it wasn't getting delivered from the administration. I'm going to take all these things as movement forward, like learning lessons, because as you all know, we're probably going to be doing some type of distance learning. And I know we're going to talk about it later in the agenda, some type of distance learning in the future. So I personally, with a growth mindset and with trying to move forward and learn from this, want to take the best things that I can and shine a light on what's worked and what's not worked and how we can move us forward. So maybe I'm like eternally optimistic. I don't mean to be naive. I hear what you're saying, and I don't want to discount what you're saying. I understand your frustration. And I just know it's super frustrating for me too. And it's super frustrating for teachers who are hearing like, oh, this school site is delivering this. This school site is shining over here. And I feel like that pits us against each other. And that's the last thing that I want to do as a union president or any type of union member is pit us against each other. That's why I'm encouraging a spirit of collaboration, and I'm encouraging positive dialogue here.
You see, if I can just add that, you know, when the CTA representative Sandra emailed all the principals, you know, they didn't respond to her either. And so I think that's again, the preference is they don't want to be perceived as not caring either, right? Nor do I when I didn't respond to her. I think in the future, you know, we would prefer to be able to communicate directly with you guys through you as the president or your team. And so we care, our principals care. We just want to be able to be the ones having the dialogue and not try to short circuit that. So I would appreciate that. If you can just pass that on, that we care, but we want to have the dialogue with you guys directly, because we think that's the best way to do that. And as far as the distance learning plan, I know that there's some people within your group that feel that, you know, we took an extra step to push a little farther beyond the MOU. And so we get that. And again, I think the best way to deal with that is to talk about it and have that conversation. I know Dr. Horvath, you know, has some insight in that process as well, but we would like to talk about it. I did respond to Sandra and I said, you know, I apologize if you think I didn't care by not responding to you, but I don't want to get in the way of communications directly with our teachers. And so I want to continue that dialogue and make sure we can settle it, you know, and work through it together, because we're going to have a lot bigger challenges than this. You know, that MOU expires June 30th, and we have all next year to deal with. So hopefully we can work together, keep our emotions, you know, at bay, and try to work together to serve kids.
100% agree, and I appreciate that, and I do appreciate this chance to give this forum the back and forth. So thank you. I definitely take this all to heart, and keep in mind, like, this is my first year on the job, right? Like this was not in the handbook, okay? Being a president in a crisis was not in the handbook. I had no training for this.
You're doing a great job.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I just ask for grace and forgiveness, and we're trying to move forward. At the end of the day, I think we all want the same things. We just have different ways of looking at it, and I'm always going to be one that wants to have the conversation.
And I'm glad that we were able to have this conversation. It was not easy, I don't think, on anyone's part, but I'm glad that we did it and that it was respectful and that we were able to share our concerns. We do have an incredible amount of work, and the better we work together, the better result we're going to have for our kids next year, period, end of story, right? Everyone's got to be flexible and know that teaching children is why we get up every day. So I appreciate everybody being flexible and willing to listen, even when it wasn't comfortable. So I don't know if anybody else on the board wanted to say anything on this item. Otherwise, we will move on to M.
I just wanted to say something quickly to CC, just because I was at the Soleado PTA meeting yesterday, and they showed your really nice drawing and note from your student about like coronavirus and Soleado Suns and all of that. So I just wanted to say that that was really cute. If you want to send it to like the other board members, I think that they would like it. But that was a really nice
thank you. It was super cute. It was, he said, if we're, because our mascot is the Soleado Suns, he's like, the coronavirus is killed by the sunlight. So as long as we keep shining, we can fight off this virus if we stick together. I was like, oh, it was the best. Thank you, Megan. I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot that they shared that.
Awesome. Okay, then moving on, thank you to MCSCA, and that would be Joan Lewis. Thank you, Joan. You're up.
Hi, everybody. Cece, I'm right there with you. It's not in the playbook, and there's so many loose ends where you're not sure where to start. But members of the board and Dr. Chernus and cabinet, I first want to say thank you because I know later on this evening you're accepting the resolution for Classified School Employee Week, which begins this Sunday. And the theme this year, 2020 vision on our schools, couldn't be more right on right now because we daily work to find solutions, as Cece talked about, on how to support student learning. This is an unprecedented new vision of 2020. However, I do have some concerns from classified employees that have been brought to me. We know that there are many conversations and working groups underway to identify the issues and solutions about how to open school in August. However, in a few weeks, like 3.5, we are going to have face-to-face connection with parents, possibly even with students, as we close 1920. The same health and safety concerns that are the problem in next fall are immediately upon us in the next few weeks. I'm hoping that once administrations designate how and when parents and students will come to sites, because we still have to clean out lockers, return textbooks, grab their yearbook, give them their medications. The list goes on, right? Because closing up school takes time and it takes one-on-one conversations. I'm just hoping that we do know that our sites must be ready. I'm asking that administrators put into place the safety and health protections that we need in August now. We need them now in 3.5 weeks. We've got gloves, masks, and cleaners. That's not the issue. It's more about each site assessing what their real needs are. If there needs to be plexiglass, how do we change up the health office? Because we're going to be seeing those kids and parents as they come through. What are libraries? How are they going to manage it? No two site will have the same issues going on. We need to be ready now because putting these steps in here will only get you ahead for August. The anxiety and concern I'm hearing from employees, from classified employees, is that those that absolutely are ready to come back to brick and mortar, they still are worried. They just don't know because I'm not sure I've been transparent enough, or maybe principals have been transparent enough to them about what we've been doing behind the scenes to make sites safe. And I want to do a better job at that. We need to include them in those conversations. They need to be getting those emails so that when the day comes and Dr. Horvath says, be at work on Monday, we're ready to be at work on Monday. And I know I can walk in and we can keep everybody safe and healthy. Transparency, I guess, and communication is what I'm looking for. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much. I took note of those items. Now we will move on to N, report of the superintendent. And I do believe we have 2 written comments and 2, I think just 1 comment via Zoom. So let's see if we can get, Trent, let me know if the Tony Gayton is in the Zoom. Well, let me know when he gets in the Zoom waiting room.
Yeah, I'm gonna go, President Seymour, I'm gonna go ahead and let admit that person. Hang on 1 second.
And Suzanne, some other ones came in, so we actually have 4 on this topic, 4 written comments.
Okay, very good. So let's let the live person, Tony, if he's ready to go. And then as soon as he's finished, then we will go to the written comments and then we will go to Dr. Chernus's report.
Okay, I believe Julie is on. Julie Gayton.
Oh, yeah, I see. Julia? Yeah, Julie. Whoop. She was on there. She is. Okay. Julie, do you hear us?
I don't think she has her.
Maybe she doesn't realize.
Doesn't have her microphone turned on. She joined the meeting. So,
Okay, well, let me go ahead and have Megan start reading the comments, and hopefully Julie is here. She will hear us, and then she will join us. Okay. So Megan, do you want to start with the comments? I think Nicole, whatever, you can start wherever you want.
Okay, yeah, sure, I'll start with her. So the first comment is from Nicole Griffiths. And she said, I'm very supportive of what seems to be heading towards a very flexible design for next school year. Having the ability to choose either distance learning or attending physically, depending on what works best for your situation, sounds perfect. Hopefully, teachers will be able to minimize their workload by recording lessons at the same time as instructing, and then can simply upload those videos for the distance learners to access. I like that this will allow very easy transition to 100% distance learning if an outbreak occurs,